I felt that, well, God called me. He literally spoke to me and told me I was going to come and pastor here and whatnot. So when she told me, this is, she had a good job over there. She was set up, leadership, all of it. There was nothing that was lacking. But then the Lord spoke, and when the Lord speaks, there's only two things you can do. You can either act like la 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 and act like you didn't hear it, and your heart becomes more hardened, and you sin against the Lord, or you do what the Lord is asking you to do. And so she did what the Lord asked her to do, and so she came up with nothing. She just moved up by faith, came up here, and then her job favored her. They did a transfer, and they brought her to over here. So, and then she got a house. Come on, somebody. I don't know if she's gonna tell it. That's why I feel like I should say, Then she got a house, and then she got everything furnished. The Lord really, really blessed her. And can I say something as a pastor? That's why you can't have a Bakersfield mentality. That's why you can't have a poor mentality. That's why you can't have a Mexican or Hispanic, or you gotta have a God mentality. You gotta believe. You hear me? You gotta believe. You gotta believe in the Bible. Like, I love what Vic said. God kicked the door. He kicked the hinges off. He didn't just kick the door. The hinges. That's the type of faith that moves the hand of God. Listen, you can prosper in the desert if God's hands on you. House for somebody. You can prosper in the desert if God's hands on you. It don't matter if it's Bakersfield. It doesn't matter if it's oil. It doesn't matter if you're in the poorest country of the state. If God's hand is on you, God's hand is on you. And he'll kick the doors off with the hinges, because that's what he does. So that's why we got to transfer our mentality. We can't have that, woe is me, or, it's just my luck, it's just Bakersfield, there's no job. No. Oh, no. I'm a living proof. And I'm not going to get into it, but the Lord has blessed me even in this land. I have a few other of my friends that moved out here, and the Lord's blessed them, and they haven't been here all their lives. They own their houses, but some of you are going to start owning houses. Come on. Some of you are going to start owning cars with tags and insurance. Some of you guys are going to go from renters to owners. You believe that? Some of you are going to, you know why you don't have a job? Because God called you to start a job. Start a job. Start something. Sell curtains. I don't know. Sell shoes. You know what the Hobby Lobby, the guy said he started in his garage. In his garage. I mean, come on, Bakersfield, come on, church. Make it happen, Captain. Sell tacos from your pad. Come on, somebody. If they're bomb, they're bomb. People will come. Right? Oh, you didn't hear me, huh? Instagram that thing. Facebook, hey, man, from 9 to 5. You want bomb tacos, come to my pad. I might show up like, where the tacos at? I'm telling you, God's gonna make some business people out of here. Businesswomen and businessmen. You believe that? Some of you are gonna get raises after this. I'm prophesying, y'all. You ain't catching it. I say God's gonna allow you to get raises and increase. I ain't talking about no 50 cents neither. $2, $3, $4 increase. Heck, why not another 100? Come on. Bonuses. Checks are gonna come from the east, west, south, and north. The IRS is gonna owe you money. Come on. Yeah. Watch what happens. Then you're gonna be like, yeah, this crazy pastor. Look what he said. Because I got crazy faith, man. I believe God can do it. So with no further ado, help me welcome Sister Christine, amen. And she typed this stuff up, the teaching. If you don't have one, you can ask the ushers. And the reason she's not up over there right now is because her job is, she just came in. She's fresh there. But I'm sure next time she'll be over there. But I just felt led by the Lord to have her speak to us, and so again, open your hearts up, open your minds, open your ears, give her a chance to impart into our lives. Again, if you need one of these papers, and if you don't have one, raise up your hand, and the ushers will give you one. Okay? God bless you.
To God be the honor and the glory. I'm just in awe of His goodness. I stand before you humble, family. Like, I really thank you, Pastor, for even allowing me the opportunity to be behind the pulpit. I know, what I do know is that pastors just don't let anyone come up here. And I just thank God that I'm here. I thank God that I'm here in the midst of family. I thank God that that everything happens for a reason, and I just want you guys to know that what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to teach on, because Pastor said go ahead and do a teaching. I'm like, okay, I got a teaching. Let me go ahead and write this up, because I'm going to touch points, but it's going to be how much you take out of it when you go home and you actually break it down. So this is just I'm going to go ahead and touch some points, but the reason why God gave me this, because I live this life. This is, what are you going to, the title is, what will you leave behind? What will I leave behind? What will you leave behind? My mother left behind what I'm walking in. So that's pretty much the premise of the teaching, but let me go ahead and start off in prayer. Lord, I just thank you and I praise you, my God. I thank you for everything you're doing. Lord, I ask you right now that you remove me completely. And you fill me with your spirit, my God, that everything that transforms out of my mouth, Lord, to be from you, my God, that there would be an impartation, Lord, that you would show your people what you need them to see, that the eyes will be open, ears will be open, my God, scales will fall off, shackles will be released, my God, that they will see your goodness, they would hear your goodness. Lord, I praise you and I thank you, and I pray that you just fall upon us right now, in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so what will you leave behind? So there's a couple things you can only leave behind. In the physical, one leaves debt or inheritance. That's all we can leave behind. We leave what we left, what we've done all our life, and it ends up just being those two things. In the spiritual realm, it's also the same. We can leave one or two things: curse or blessings. So let's go ahead and talk. I'm going to go ahead and read Deuteronomy 30:19. This day I call the heavens and the earth and witness against you that I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Now choose life so that you and your children, catch that, your children may live. So I live because what my mother sowed. Okay? So what is, I'm breaking, so the teacher's on breaking down what a generational curse is. It is believed to be passed down from generation to another generation, from rebelling against God. If your family is marked with divorce, incest, poverty, and let me stop with poverty, because poverty is big. Because there's two types of poverty. There's the physical poverty where you feel like you don't have anything, but there's also spiritual poverty where you think that you're not entitled to anything, that you can only get to a certain level. And that's the poverty, that's the spiritual poverty that needs to get broken off. Because God says we're made to prosper. He's made us to be abundant. He made us to be, we're supposed to be the head, not the tail. So right there, just that alone. I just wanted to stop with that because we need to recognize that we're sons and daughters of the King. We wake up and sleep in royalty. And the way we live, do we live like that? I ask myself, do I? So I need to make sure that I recognize that I am chosen generation, that I am set up for the time like this. Why? Because we are to show the world God's goodness. We need to. So poverty, anger, and other ungodly patterns. You're likely under a generational curse. The Bible says that the curses are tied to choices from generations behind us, right? The choices that people before us made. But they're also mindsets. Also, we can also get caught up because, oh, my mom didn't have this, my grandmother didn't have this, so I'm not going to have this. That's a mindset. That's what we've seen. We want to duplicate what we've seen. But that's not who we are anymore, right? So let's go ahead. What we're really going to talk about is the blessing part. Everyone wants to get blessed. Who wants to get blessed? Who wants to stay blessed? Amen. And that's just it. To walk into an unmerited blessing. To wake up and be walking into a new job.
Amen.
Unmerited blessing, right? And that happens because there's somebody, somewhere, something, God's favor upon your life that someone sowed, someone prayed that seed in, and it's coming to pass, and it's manifesting now. So a generational blessing is believed to be passed again from generation to generation due to keeping God's covenant, a sacrifice, a righteousness, and sowing. Come on. So I'm just going to go ahead. So we know we serve a God of covenants. His covenants have been with us since garden. In the beginning, the first covenant was don't touch that tree because there's going to be a consequence. That was the covenant God made with them, with Adam and Eve. And because of that, we fell under the curse, right? So we serve a God of covenants. And it's an agreement between God and his children. It's an agreement between us and God. We can make a covenant with God too. Has anyone made a covenant ever with God? Right? So, because that's the language he recognizes, covenants. He throughout the Bible, he's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. When you stamp a covenant, he's like, oh, you're speaking my language. You know what? A pledge is a covenant. You're writing down what you're believing for. You're telling God, I'm believing for my family. I'm believing for my next generation. I'm believing for my wife. I'm believing for my husband. You're writing down a covenant. And what does God say? Test me in this. It's the only time he says that. Test me. See if your windows won't open up. And not only will it everyone around you is going to have an overflow. And that's why sometimes people are like, oh, so-and-so's getting blessed, let me stand by them. Because there's an overflow. And it's real. It's a real overflow. Whoever you hang around with, this is for somebody, the people you keep close to you are the people that are going to be around you. So whatever is flowing on them, whether it's an overflow of blessings or an overflow of other stuff, you're going to get caught up in that. So that's why you need to make sure that you're around godly people that have the same belief, that know the same God, that pray the same way, that you can pull them up, because what we're here to do is to bring each other to the next level, right? That's all we are. Amen. So Deuteronomy 7:9, know therefore the Lord your God is God, the faithful God who keeps covenants and steadfast love, and chose who love him to keep his commandments. To how many generations?
1,000.
1,000 generations. Come on. I'm only second generation. I have 998 more generations under me are going to be blessed because a woman sowed in my life. Come on. That's heavy. Like, you guys have to think about that. What we sow, we're sowing in for the next. We're sowing how much? Let me ask you guys a question. How much would you pay for your son that's on drugs to go to heaven? What would that dollar amount look like? Your mother, your father, they're not saved. What would you give to make sure that that their mansion is by yours? Because you know you have a mansion. How much? What would that look like? What would that dollar amount look like? Yeah, there's no dollar amount, right? Nothing. There's nothing. Take it all. What else can I get? Give them my shoes. What else? It doesn't even matter. Everything, right? And that's what we have to recognize, that what we do now impacts. Either we leave the curse or we leave a blessing, right? Okay, now the sacrifice of righteousness. Come on. It's a sacrifice to be righteous. I know, probably not for you guys, but sometimes it's a sacrifice to be righteous, like to be right standing with God. It's work. It's work. You have to get up early, right? Pray. You have to come to church when you don't want to come to church. Right? There's things that we have to continue to sharpen ourselves with that it makes it difficult. Go into a fast. Why do you do that? Because you want to make sure that everything, that no distraction, distractions around you, that you're one with God, that God, you hear God, and this is it. Because I really have a petition. I really need this. Let me go ahead and separate myself. And it's hard, it's not easy to be righteous, but you know what? I thank God that there's mercy, right? That there's grace, and that He just really shines over us, and He helps us. The next morning, yes, Lord, thank you for the morning. There's, sorrow may come in the night, but what comes in the morning? Joy, right? We just count on that joy, because the righteousness. So one thing, there's 5 points that we're going to talk about to keep righteous, and I'm going to go really fast. Right, is anyone benefiting? What do you guys think so far? So good? Amen. Okay. So, meditate in the Word. What does that look like? Get in your Bible. Know what that looks like. Meditate on the Word. Right? Meditate. And it says, get a grip of, just get a grip of God's Word. Just know it, because we need to know for the second point. Pray the Word back. So if the devil's talking to you and you don't know the Word, how are you going to defend yourself? Come on. No, devil. That's not my portion. The Bible says that I'm blessed coming in and blessed going out. The Bible says I'm made in His likeness. The Bible says I'm wherever I go, I'm prosperous. The Bible says I'm the head and not the tail. But if you don't know that, you can't say that. The Bible says I'm wonderfully and perfectly made. The Bible says that He knew me before. He knew me before I was in my mother's womb. That means that I had a relationship with Him before I was even in the womb. That means that what? That I was with Him already. If He knew me. Right? So, you can't know. But if we don't know that, because we're not in our Word, then we can't defend ourselves. And then, fast for distractions. We know what that looks like, right? Go to church. Like, we need to surround ourselves with men and women of God that have the same belief, that have the same likeness, because we can't, iron sharpens iron, right? Iron sharpens iron, right? And if we have someone soft next to us, how are we going to sharpen us? How are we going to get sharpened, right? Not. We're going to end up making a mess. But the thing is, we need to keep on being in the house of God. And then, lastly, offer the tithe. That is huge. Give to God what is rightly His by tithing and watching as He blesses you and returns, making you able to give even more for good for the kingdom of God, as you and your loved ones, not just you, but for your loved ones, enjoy the benefits as well. And that's just it. And the last one is sowing. Sowing? We sow. There's different ways we sow. We sow our time, right? We sow our talents, our gifts. We sow our finances. And God honors all these 3 points. That's how God blesses us. That's how He honors us. When you say, man, I know that's a sacrifice. You fasting for 7 days, Pastor? I know that's a sacrifice. And you know what? I'm going to honor that. I'm going to, it's supernatural, right? He honors that. And not only does He bless, guess who else is going to get blessed? We are. Because He's playing over our stuff, right? He's playing to bless us, and we're going to be of that overflow now. So what I want to do is actually, so this is the foundation of my story. Now I'm going to go ahead and share how this falls, how my mom modeled this, and how my brother and I are walking it out. So my mother was, when she was 19 years old, she was pronounced dead. She got into a car accident. But 2 weeks before she passed away, she gave her life to Christ. When she had an out-of-body experience, and she came back, and she was able to go to church, she ran to Victory Temple, where she got planted. It was in that time that she got planted, she was in the women's home, and she recognized what sowing and reaping model meant, and she started sowing and reaping into Victory Temple, became Victory Outreach, Victory International, Outreach International. So she sowed seed, like we're doing today. She sowed seed in good ground, right? And we see it throughout the years, because you'll know it by the fruit, and look at the fruit. So she sowed seed there. I'm 6 years old. Pastor Sonny's my first pastor. And he told me when I was 6 years old, after I gave my life to Christ, if anything happens, if you're ever afraid, call out to God, and God will send an angel. So my parents were fighting. My father was never saved. And if I were to fight, I'm crying under my sheet. An angel appears in my room. I'm super scared. But then at that point, I knew that when I called out to God, things happened. So for the rest of my life, I prayed and I cried out to God for all the things. My prayers were, Lord, I don't know what good looks like. This can't be good. But I pray that you would show me what's good. So he took me from glory to glory to glory. Again, because of my mother's sewing, because she modeled, she would get paid once a month. And so only once a month. She was the sole provider of the house. Because my father didn't, he was a gang member. He was out doing his thing. I don't know. Amen. So I was saying he didn't have any money, so I don't know how that works. But I don't know how that works. So she took care of all the finances. So she would say, she would have 4 stacks. This is for the food, this is for the bills, this is for extra. But there was one stack always, and that was the biggest stack. I mean, Mom, what was that? Time. And I'm like, but that's more than all of them. She says, that's not even there. It's these 3 that we have. And as a young girl, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it as a young girl. And then as time came, my mother's prayers were, Lord, I pray that my prayers are, Lord, that me and my family will serve you. I stand on the promises you gave to me, the promise, and I stand on it for years. It's 12 years later, and she's still saying that prayer every single day. And with that, one day I was lying beside her, and she said, Lord, I just pray, my God, that you said me and my family will serve you. And tears just came down my face. She didn't know that. She knows it now because she's in heaven. But tears came down my face. And I said, man, my dad will never be saved. That prayer will never come to pass. Like, God's not gonna make that happen. Little faith. So years go by. So now it gets worse for my mom in the physical. I end up being a reckless life for 25 years, and my mom has to see that. And I was her right hand. Like, I did everything with her. We were only 14 years apart, so we grew up together. And so we grew up together. And so, yeah, I was her best friend. She confided me in all kinds of stuff, probably stuff I shouldn't have known, but she confided me in a lot of things. And when I left, and I never looked back. You want to know why I left? Because remember the prayer, Lord, show me what that good looks like. Show me what that looks like. I don't know what it looks like. I ended up at USC. And it was at USC where the devil lied to me, the biggest lie of deception in my life. He said, you call God, and God sends angels. You don't need a church. Doesn't the Bible say that you're the temple? You're your own church. You don't need a church. You're perfectly fine without going to church. That was the biggest spiral out of my life. I went out of control. I ended up far away because pride. You're right. Who needs a church? Right? Years pass. My brother killed in jail. My mother devastated. But who knows that we serve a faithful God. The morning of when they killed him, that morning he dedicated his life. We had a pastor came and prayed over him, and he rededicated his life that morning. So he's in heaven, right? So my mother dies 5 years after her. holding on to a Bible. She's in heaven. So now my dad's, Pastor Julio was going to pray for my dad. My dad's sick. Like when he came to pray over him, he was in a coma. They had him strapped down because he had something called delirium. And 2 days later, he came out. And I believe it was because of the prayers of the righteous men that came to that house. He came on behalf of God's servant, my brother. And 2 days later, he came and he dedicated his life to God. He died 2 days later, and I got to see him take his last breath. And I would remember, I'm still not saving God. And his breath, someone came and picked him up. He was like a little boy. He was like so excited, and he was in a coma. So for him to sit up and be excited and smile and reach, I knew someone had come. Then I ended up, that's one time Pastor Julio was in my life. Then I ended up with cancer, and Pastor Julio came and prayed over me. And it was in that my brother, I told my brother wasn't speaking to me. I told my brother, doctor said I'm not going to make it. I will see you in heaven because I had zero. I had 6 pints of blood left out of 16. They said, we don't even know how you're standing. Your internal organs are shutting down. Cancer's so severe. We can't do anything for you. What took you so long? I said, doctor, 2 things are going to happen. By this time, I was at Victory Outreach, Eagle Rock. I was grateful because I was going to kill myself one night, and then God showed me my mom, which I asked him if he would allow her to come down and pray for me like that angel did when I was 6 years old. Then my tomorrow was his. So that night I slept. I woke up, and that tomorrow is still today. I never looked back. And in that. So God started restoring me. So when I came from being at the gates of hell, and God pulled me out of the gates of hell, because that's where I was going. If I would have killed myself that night, I would be straight in the pit of hell right now. And he pulled me out. So the first Sunday coming to Eagle Rock, because I had to go to church, I was excited because I was going to go sow my seed. I was going to go tithe. And every Sunday I would go to tithe. I didn't care, Lord, Sunday I gotta go, because I recognized that my life was gone. I have a second chance. And then, so my brother came back after Pastor Julio and him. He called Pastor Julio, of course, come pray for me, because he was in ministry at the time. So they prayed over me. We went to church, and I'm healed. 100% healed. Walking testimony. This is 8 years ago. No signs of cancer. And then one day I'm standing in church, and my brother's standing, and we're worshiping. And I look across and I smile and go home. And God says, your mother's prayers have come to pass. Come on. Your mother's prayers have come to pass. I'm like, my mother's prayers? Her and her family are serving me. And I say that because that's what we sow into. We sow into salvation for the next. But you know what else comes with salvation, with those benefits? They manifest in the physical. Do you know that because of my mom's sewing, because I didn't know how to sew, at 20 years old, I owned my first condo. Not me. 8 years later, I sold it. I made $280,000. Do you know that I have right now? And God had to remind me because I had forgotten. I mean, that's how much material things don't matter to me. I have a house in Pasadena worth $1.2 million. Wow. It takes care of itself. I don't even pay attention to it. It doesn't matter to me. This physical, financial thing, honestly, whatever I have is for God. Yeah. I'm not taking the house in Pasadena with me. And then my brother, 23 years old, handed over a deed to the house. He's paid in full. He never had to work walking into unmerited blessing. He didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve it. But we had a mother that prayed and sowed a seed. And she bathed that prayer. And she made sure my name was attached to it. Daniel's name was attached to it. And guess what? I'm walking in it. Now I ask you, what are you going to leave? What will you leave? What will you leave? That's it. What will I leave? I have a legacy to leave behind. I have a mantle I need to hand over. And my mantle's heavy. And I'm not saying that it's heavy because I have a lot. My mantle's heavy because there's an urgency within me. There's an urgency because there's too little time. There's so much souls out there that are hurting, that people need to know that here, if you get my mantle, you need to start running, because you know what? It's not enough. Woo. We talk about this corona disease. Come on. Come on. There's people that are out all over, homeless, forgotten, abandoned. They're somebody's brother, sister, mother, father. Do we recognize that? No, do we just think that they're all? Humanity thinks like they're like animals. But they don't recognize. They're human beings. They're children of the living God. God cries for them. His heart roars for them. Like he's like, where are my children? What will you leave behind? My mom was one. She was just one further. Through her, my whole family got saved. My grandmother saved. No one's died. Everyone that's died has been in line with God. She was the one. Who in your house, which one of you will stand up and say, I'm the one? I'm the one. I will take all this. I will do the sacrifice to be righteous. I will make sure that I listen to God's covenants. I will sow into God's house. I'll put seed in the ground where it's fruitful. There you go. Heart for our house. There's no reason why. 100%. I am grateful for these times of the year. Because these are the time I'm like, okay, God, it's you and me, let's go. 2 years ago, at my old church, I did the same. I did the same thing 2 years ago in my old church. And I sowed for my brother, who was far away from the things of God. Why? Because he was hurt. He was in the front lines. He got hit. He got hurt. He was pushed to the side, and no one came to see. Men, no one came to see what was going on. I pray that you as brothers will hold each other up, and when you find somebody that's struggling, come. But that's why VOBE is important, because it shows us how to stay, how to get our authority, how to be strong, how to pull each other up. How it really shows and gives us the discipleship like no other. Like, what, you didn't call me yesterday, what's going on? Like, I knew you were going through some stuff. Those are the conversations, and you can't do that unless you know it. You can't just see somebody every Sunday and think they're doing fine. Hey, no. You got to get in the world. Amen. I don't know why I went on that tangent. But if you could give me number four. This is my brother now. He's serving God. I don't know if you. Oh, you can't see him. He's in the media now. And then the next one. He graduated from what's equivalent to what VOBE is, and he's only 2 weeks away from graduating Bible college. He's a leader. He has his own family group. Like, God just moved it, and that's why I asked you, how much would I have given for my brother? Man, there's no money that I wouldn't have given. I would have sold it all. And I just thank God, because of my mom, that it continues, that his legacy continues down, that my legacy continues down. What am I going to leave? What am I going to leave? And look how much better we are. My mom, now we are both homeowners. What are our kids walking into? What are our kids walking into? Pastor Sonny, let's just do this real fast. Pastor Sonny, streets of New York, projects, didn't even have enough for the pancakes. right? All kinds of junkies, didn't have tithe, didn't have offering. I've heard that, right? But what did God do? Man, because of a man's vision, he heard from God, right? He was faithful. He didn't get tired of doing well. And guess what? He's how like his net worth. Who knows what that is? But look at his. More importantly, look at his kids. Where are they? Where are his children? They're all serving God. They're all pastors. If not, they're married pastors, or they're living, working in the financial. They're just working the house. But how about their kids? The next generation, the ones that were up and preaching. The grandchildren are already up there preaching the third grade, right? How about their kids? See those generations? Blessing after blessing. They're waking up and walking into blessing. That's what Baker believes. That's what we need to walk into. We need to wake up and see the goodness of God. We need to make sure that our kids don't have to go through what we went through, that they just get up and they see the goodness, and that when it came to the things of God, take it off. Take it off. Because I saw my mother, because I saw my father faithful, and we didn't have anything, and then one day we had it all. We were on the bus, now we own the bus. I just say that I really want to do an altar call for those who want to really just say, Lord, I'll be the one. I'll be the one for my family. I will stand and be that one. If I can get the, thank you, I'm sorry. I'm new at this, guys. Just I'll be the one. I'll stand up for my family. I'll be the husband that you made me to be. Lord, I will sacrifice what that looks like. Lord, I thank you, my God. I praise you and I worship you for what you've done. I pray, my God, that your word will continue to minister in the hearts of your people, my God. That you would